Hey, welcome. This is Carcino here with MMA Socialist. I'm standing here with, well, I'm not standing here. I'm on the phone with Jack Shields, the manager of Jake Shields, and right now, Jake is too busy right now training. He's focusing, getting ready for this mega fight, UFC 129 against George St. Rush Pierre, and I gotta be unbiased here, and I'm taking Jake. So I'm gonna go ahead and let Jack answer a few questions for us. Jack, how's the training been coming for this camp compared to the last fight he just had?
It's coming real good. The main difference I see is Jake is already back to his welterweight walk around. The last fight, we were talking about fighting Anderson Silva just 9 weeks before the fight. And then the UFC could use him more at welterweight. George has not only beat everybody at that weight, all the top fighters at that weight had already fought each other. And so Jake was happy to oblige. He thought he could cut that much weight in that amount of time. His camp went pretty well, but the weight cut was hard. This time around, he's already cut the weight. He looks great. I've seen him training. I don't think I've ever seen him better.
Yeah, I've noticed, when I've seen him in photos and interviews, I've seen he's taking like a little bit more cardio now than I've seen him before. And he was saying something about him going into the mountains now. Is that like a part of his workout, his training?
Well, he grew up in the mountains, and so he's always done a lot of mountain climbing, rock climbing, caving, all that kind of stuff. He's not doing a lot of his training in the mountains. He's been up a couple of times, but he's got good training partners, and he's working really hard. And his cardio, the only time he's really had trouble with his cardio was in his last fight, and that had more to do with his weight cut than anything else. He's gone 5 rounds a couple of times, and he had, I think it's 9 finishes in his last 12 fights, and so he had a lot of short fights. Yeah. But he went the distance with Mayhem Miller, and he went the distance with Henderson.
Right.
And his cardio was fine, but he had spent 2 years adding that weight.
Right.
And when you spend 2 years lifting weights and drinking protein whey shakes and all that, and putting on the weight, and then you only have 9 weeks to lose it, he was a little optimistic, and he just barely got it off. He actually spent 36 hours. The last 36 hours, he cut almost 20 pounds, and spent a lot of that time in the sauna, which he usually runs it off. It just, he had so much more weight on than usual that I think that affected his cardio. His cardio looks good right now.
Right, because I've noticed, he's doing something that I don't know if he's done it before in the past, but I'm noticing now because I'm good friends with Omar Henry, and he's also been sparring a lot and working with Court McGee and guys like that. So he's going to be looking more for like striking in this?
Yeah, he's doing a lot of striking.
Okay.
He's done striking in the past. He's had some better than usual training partners, including Omar. I mean, as you know, he's top class.
Yeah.
World class boxer on the up and coming, and I would say his striking looks really good right now, and his grappling is as good as it's ever been. And so he's focusing a little more on the striking than he has, but he's always had pretty good striking. He's always been pretty hard to hit. Henderson, the only one that landed any clean punches on him in the last 15 or 20 fights or so, is the only one that tagged him really hard, and he shook it off and ended up winning the fight anyway. So, but Omar Henry, I would say, is the top guy to spar with, and he has some other top guys that he spars with that are boxers and kickboxers, and so yeah, that's a big part of his training.
Yes, and don't you think the reason for like a lot of his success and the reason why you guys are having good camps is because like everybody's family. It's one big family here. You got Billy Shields, you got Quinn Shields, you got even Mike Ray.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Mike, and then his brother Clement's a black belt. He has his own gym down in Santa Cruz, and he's one of Jake's training partners, and he has a wrestling background like Jake, and so he's essentially an all-around grappler, and he trains with Jake when he's getting ready for fights. So yeah, it's all family. And the guys in the camp too, for that matter. When you get down there with Gilbert and Nick and Nate, those guys have been together. You know, a lot of these camps, they come together before a fight for 8 or 9 weeks, and then they go back to wherever they come from. But these guys have been training together and flying all over the world to corner each other for 10 years. And so it's like a small family, the whole crew, really.
Right. And I'm going on record here to say I am definitely going for Jake Shields to beat GSP. I just never liked GSP. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm a fan.
I think Jake's going to win it. As far as I know, GSP is a nice enough guy, but
yeah, he is.
He's had his time, and it's Jake's time now.
Yep. And I'm ready, and I'm gonna be right there. And then I'm gonna play this interview over and over again. But I want to thank you a lot, Jack, for coming on, because I know the UFC's got Jake real busy right now. And then after the fight, we'll do something later on the MMA Socialist. And
sounds great.
All right, thanks for calling.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.